What is that back there? What is that?
Ocean.
Yeah, it's the ocean. Hello, and welcome to Take Home Torah from Congregation Beth Sholom. My name is David Katz, and I'm excited to have the opportunity to speak to you this Shabbos about a parsha that is near and dear to me, not just because it was my bar mitzvah portion. There are 6 parshiot in the Torah that are named for individuals: Noach, Chaye Sarah, Korach, Balak, Pinchas, and this week's parsha, Yitro. 3 of these individuals, Noach, Balak, and Yitro, are not Jewish. Noach because he predates Am Yisrael, Balak the non-Jewish prophet who intends to curse us but ends up offering a blessing, and Yitro, Moses' father-in-law. Now Yitro is the ultimate case study in organizational management. He observes how Moses listens to the people from day to night as they bring disputes, grievances, and questions to him. Upon observing this, Yitro suggests that Moses implement a system of judges of thousands, judges of hundreds, judges of 50s, and judges of 10s. With only the cases of the highest relevance and importance reaching Moses, a system that is implemented and replicated to this very day. Yitro's recommendation achieves its desired outcome, effectively providing Moses with more time. After this vignette around the establishment of a court system to expand the responsibility of governing the people amongst the people and freeing up more of Moses' time, the parsha goes directly into the revelation at Sinai. Fire, smoke, trumpets, the 10 commandments. When we read this parsha on Shabbat in synagogue, God willing, next year together in person, the whole congregation rises for the recitation of the 10 commandments. So I have a question. Why preface the revelation at Sinai with a vignette about an overtaxed Moses and a disbursement of responsibility? So hold on to that question for a little bit because we're going to return to it. Time is something that I've been thinking about a lot over the course of the COVID-19 pandemic. In my last Take Home Torah, I touched upon the things we let go of and things we look to carry with us when we all come out of this. And in preparation for this drash, I had the realization that we have now lived as a family in San Francisco for 19 months, 10 of them sheltering in place. More time in lockdown than not. At the same time, I have found myself these past 10 months with a significant addition of time. No commute, no travel, no Shabbat services, time that unexpectedly suddenly opened up. Or as open as it can be when you have an active toddler and limited childcare at home. When Riva first joined our family 2.5 years ago, I had this idea that I would be a dad that hiked. For my first Father's Day, Amanda's gift to me was a backpack carrier, and until COVID hit, it got limited use. A hike in Runyon Canyon when we lived in Los Angeles, a Passover trip with friends to Joshua Tree, but for the most part, it sat in the closet. That all changed when we entered shelter in place. Riva and I realized that we can walk out of our front door and walk to the Golden Gate Bridge, Land's End, the windmills in Golden Gate Park, the beach, the list goes on. These adventures have been a highlight of the past year. We sing, we eat snacks, we talk, and she spends countless hours outside exploring our wonderful neighborhood. So think back one more time to that question. Why is it that the story of Yitro and the shift in power amongst the people of Israel with the implementation of judges, why does that preface the revelation at Sinai? And as you're thinking about that, I'm going to invite you to join me and Riva on a short hike through the Presidio. Okay, so here we are at Immigration Point, which is just a mile from our house. And Riva, what do we see out here? What do you see? Cars. And what's that all the way out there?
The lighthouse.
A lighthouse. So for the video, you have to tell everyone when we see it. What are we going to see next? What do you think we're going to see? Okay, tell us when we see it.
I see it.
What is it?
It's my favorite.
Is it covered? Is it covered in fog?
No.
Can you see the whole thing?
Yeah.
You can see the whole thing. Come back there.
Good.
What are you eating?
Cheese.
What kind of cheese? Oh, you showed us. Okay, so we're now just about 2 miles from our house at Fort Winfred Scott. And Riva, tell everyone what is that behind us out there? If they can see it.
Alcatraz.
Alcatraz. Whose neighborhood? No what? Do you want to sing a Shabbat song? Want to sing what do you want to do? Which one?
Oh, say Sholom bin Mama. Uya say Shalom Aleinu. Meyako Tentefir Eimu. Amen. Oh, say Shalom bin Mama. Uya say Shalom Aleinu. Meyako Tentefir Eimu. Amen.
Okay, so we're now about 3 miles into our hike, and we are in the Presidio, just above the cemetery here, the National Cemetery. What's that noise? What are we listening to?
Frogs.
Frogs. We're now here in Mountain Lake Park on our way home from our hike. Where do you think the frogs are, Riva?
Are they in the house?
I don't think they're in the house.
Are they in the street?
In the street? No.
Are they under the sidewalk?
Under the sidewalk?
No. Are they under the dog party?
Under the dog party? Are they down there are they down there?
Yeah.
Riva, can I tell you something? I wanted to tell you that I had a really fun time on our hike today.
No.
You didn't have a fun time? Wasn't coming up to our home. Thanks for joining us on our hike today. So thank you for joining us on that adventure. Hopefully you got a little taste of what we experience on a weekly basis. Prior to COVID, Amanda, Riva, and I made hosting guests a regular part of our Friday night Shabbat practice. And we cannot wait to be able to welcome guests back into our home when the time is safe to do so again. While it doesn't make up for our ability to walk together or share a meal, I do hope that these clips from our recent hike brought you some sense of community. And I'd like to attempt to tie this notion back into our parsha for the week. Aviva Zornberg ties Yitro's comments to his son-in-law Moses to the revelation at Sinai in the following way. Sinai for the Jewish people is a traumatic experience. An overwhelming scene of thunder and lightning, the endless crescendo of a ram's horn, a smoking mountain, the 10 Commandments. When Yitro first appeals to Moses to delegate the responsibility, he says, "Its weight is too great for your strength. You will wither up, as will this people who are with you." For Zornberg, the placement of Yitro's delegation of power, of sharing responsibility, of freeing up time for himself is preparation for the community as a whole to experience the trauma that is the revelation at Sinai. The release of the sole responsibility by Moses is therapeutic. My friends, we find ourselves once again in the midst of a collective traumatic experience. It will end. We will come out of it, and when we do, we will need one another more than ever before. As we enter into this Shabbat, I hope that, like Moses, you can take the time necessary to find the things that are meaningful to you. Find ways to safely be with family and community, and know that once it is safe to do so, we cannot wait to be back in community with you. around our Shabbat table, at Beth Sholom, and on adventures across the Greater Bay Area. Best wishes from my family to yours for a Shabbat Shalom.